Have you ever noticed that it's so much easier to learn after you've made a mistake than someone just telling you, hey, don't do this, avoid this? Well, in today's episode, this is me telling you what to avoid. Please do not make these mistakes. It's another episode of Here are the 52 Mistakes I Made in Business. Please don't do what I did.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Has anyone in business ever told you, you've got A players, you got B players, and on the team, unfortunately, sometimes you've got C players, and then an occasional D player? Well, people would say this all the time, and of course, what are we all looking for? We're looking for those A players. But I could never really figure out what was an A player. I couldn't put anything around it. I needed something to measure it. And I never had any sort of measuring stick, measuring tool to figure out, okay, who's an A player, who's a B player, C player, D player, etc. And then I found something. So if you're driving, obviously I don't want you writing this down, but if you're not driving and you have a piece of paper in front of you, this is what I want you to do. And if you're driving, just visualize this. I want you to take a piece of paper, and at the top of the paper, towards the left-hand side, I want you to draw a line down about 6 inches. And when you get down to the bottom, then I want you to draw another line connected going out to the right 6 inches. So it's going to look like a big L or a right-hand angle. Then what I want you to do is divide up the space within that L into 4 quadrants. Just kind of put a big X in it. So you end up with what looks like 4 boxes. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, I want you to put in the letter A. In the upper left-hand corner, that box, I want you to put the letter B. In the lower left-hand corner box, put in the letter D. And in the lower right-hand box, put in the letter C. Now, along the left-hand line, the one that goes up and down, I want you to write to the left of it, culture. Just write down the word culture to the left of that line. And the line that runs parallel from left to right on the bottom, I want you to write skill. So what this is, it's a graph showing you, by the way, at the corner where the 2 lines meet, I want you to put 0. And at the top of the line on the left, I want you to put 10. And on the top or the right of the line, all the way over to the right, 10. So it's a measuring stick, right? You've got 0 to 10 going up, and you've got 0 to 10 going to the right. What this chart is going to enable you to do is to evaluate your employees to find out which ones are doing great and others that need help. So simply take someone on your team, take one of your employees, and from a scale from 0 to 10, how do they fit the culture? Are they 50% there? Are they just like out of their mind? Everything related to the culture, they're just like spot on. That would be a 10. If they're halfway there, it would be a 5. Now, what about their skills? Actually getting the job done. Are they really good at performing? Are they really good at execution? Or are they not so good on execution, not so good at getting their job done? Rate them 0 to 10. And then what you end up doing is you then intersect the 2 lines. So for example, if on the skill they were an 8 and they were also an 8 on culture, what you would do is you would take from the 8 and you would start to draw a line across to the right, and you would draw the line from the bottom on the 8 that they had on skills, draw it up until it meets. And of course, where would that meet? That would meet in the A quadrant, the A box. Now, if someone was an 8 with culture, following the culture and living the culture, and somebody was an 8 in skill, of course we would think they're an A player, right? I mean, this is awesome. Sure, okay, we can improve a little bit on the skills. We can improve a little bit on the culture, but we've got a really solid employee here. Now, let's take somebody, for example, that really just is a renegade, doesn't follow the company culture, but they are a superstar. They're your top salesman. They are just phenomenal. They're just killing it. Well, if they rate a 2 or 3 on culture, and then they're an 8, 9, 7 on the skill, they fall into what category? That lower right-hand quadrant or the C block. And you do this for each one of your employees. Now, what are we all after? A players, right? So let's figure out how we get more A players. If we have someone that is really good with the culture, but their skills just aren't up to snuff yet, they're going to fall into the B block, right? The B category. All we need to do is figure a way how to increase that employee's skills, and we can move them from a B to an A. And there's a lot of people like that. We just got to invest the time, the energy, and the training in order to move them over. Somebody has low skills, not good on execution, not getting their job done, and doesn't fit the company culture. Well, of course, they're going to fall into the D category, right? Now, what does D stand for? Done, right? Real easy. Nobody has any problems with this. You know these employees were. Hopefully you don't have any left on your team, but they're just not a good fit. They don't get the job done, and they don't fit the culture. They're easy to fire, to get rid of. Nobody likes to fire anybody, but you know who they are, and it's an easy decision. But now, let's look at this C category. A top salesman that is just killing it, but they don't fit the culture of the company. What do you do with these people? Well, this is where the lesson comes in. I thought if I had someone in this C category, I've had them, that all I needed to do was figure out how to get them to adhere more to the culture of the company. I just needed to bring them around, right? Make them better team player. Well, guess what? It's really difficult, if not impossible, to get people to change their true color, who they are as a person. And if they don't fit your culture, chances are you're not going to be able to mold them into your culture. If you want someone great at customer service and great with your customers, hire someone that is great with people. Don't take a non-people person and try to make them head of customer service or in customer service. If they don't like people in most of their lives, they're not going to like people in your business. Have you ever met a great salesman that just doesn't play by the rules? I've had them all the time. But here's the key, and here's the problem, and here's the disaster that can occur. These C players, you want to keep them around because they're performers. They get stuff done. But C stands for cancer. These employees, high-performing employees, but very low on culture, following their culture, these are the cancers within your organization. You dread, and many times don't even think about letting them go. You think about promoting them. Why? Because they're producing results. And in business, that's what we want to do, produce results. But these employees can be so disruptive and absolutely undermine everything in the organization. You must be very careful, and you must, unfortunately, get them in line with the culture quickly or find them somewhere else to work. Find them another employer. Have them go out on their own and start their own business. Have them do something other than work in your company. And I know this is going to be one of the hardest decisions you ever make. But let me tell you, when you finally identify who these people are, and I bet you're going to have some, the day that they're no longer with your organization is the day you start breathing easier. It's the day the rest of the team comes to you, and whether they say it or not, they're saying, wow, thank you. That person was so disruptive. It just brings down the entire energy and the entire focus of a company when you have someone that is just at every turn fighting you on the culture of the company. Now, this is really important. You've got to have a culture of a company, right? You've got to have written values. Any company that I have the same values, the same culture in every single one. And I have an acronym, URPC bar. Because I want them to get part of their identity, that's who they are. First one, U, urgency, I do it now. R, right thing, I do the right thing every time. P, problem solver. I find a way. I solve problems. C, communication. I communicate clearly and consistently. B, best. I do my best every day in every way. A, I'm accountable and I take responsibility. R, respect. I get along with others and treat them the way they want to be treated. I can't tell you the number of times after I discovered this chart how much easier it was for me to identify those C players and realize very, very quickly, after going through some very painful experiences, that C players do not have a place in my business. Period. So usually I ask a question of the day, but actually this is going to be action of the day. And that is, this week, schedule on your calendar the time to sit down and go through this exercise with each and every one of your employees. Do it by yourself. Don't sit there with your employee standing in front of you doing this, but do it for each one. And the A players, reward and encourage. Congratulate them on their great job and inspire them to do even better. The B players, they need training. They need help. Get in there and give them what they need. They might need some accountability. Get them some accountability. Let them know what is expected of them and help them. The D players, you know what to do with them. If they're still on your payroll, you're not doing your job. They need to go immediately. The C players, you need to come up with a plan to get them in conformity with the culture of your company. And that time frame has to be very short. It needs to be tracked. It needs to be measured. And if they do not get in alignment with the culture of the company, you need to let them go. Period. It's going to be tough. I promise you, you'll be very happy that you did. And the rest of the team will be very happy as well. Have a great week. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.